Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume podcast. I am your host, Spencer Williams, and thank you so much for joining me for another revisited episode of the Art of Costume podcast. Hey, costume nerds, I hope you're all doing well and getting into the holiday wintry spirit. So today we were supposed to release our The Wizard of Oz episode, but unfortunately we are having some audio difficulties with it, so I didn't want to put it out today because it's going to torture your ears and I don't want to do that to you. So instead, that episode is being released next week on December 9th. In the meantime, I don't want to leave you hanging, so instead, we're actually going to take a trip down memory lane and go back to season 1 of what was then called the Art of Costume blogcast. Don't ask, it was a poor naming decision, but we had reasons, but we won't get into that. But going back to season 1, we did a episode during the holidays that I am still proud of to this day. While the audio might not have been perfect and maybe we were still so new to this all, I was really proud of the episode back then and still to this day as we talked to costume designer Carey Bennett about her work on The Office. She designed costumes for the first few seasons of The Office, and because we did this episode during the holidays, we asked her specifically about costumes from the holiday episodes of The Office because we figured it's probably a lot to go through every single season that she did, so we focus entirely on the holidays. And still to this day, I mean, it was just such a fun episode talking about, for example, the famous dinner party scene with Jan wearing the red, looking like the devil, talking about Michael Scott's ties. It was all so much fun, and we even went on to do a project with Carey Bennett as well, where we raised money for a great cause as well, as we gave away some actual Dunder Mifflin robes, which was a lot of fun. So I hope you all enjoy this revisited episode. It still brings me a lot of joy, and I think you'll do the same for you. Enjoy, and we will be back next week with another episode of the Art of Costume podcast. We're going to be talking about the Wizard of Oz. Not too long after that, we'll be talking about My Fair Lady, and then we have a season finale episode that I am just so excited to get into with you all, but I'm going to leave it there for now. And of course, we have so many episodes of The Costume House with Spencer Williams coming out as well. So many great interviews I've already done that I'm excited to share with you all. So be on the lookout for those as well. With that, I hope you all enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dan, who does all the magic behind the scenes. I wanted to say thank you, and if you want to support the show even farther, go to tpublic.com/user/theartofcostume, where you can buy a couple variations of our logo on t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. Also, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and if you're an audio listener, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Now, back to the show.
So when I see this episode, I like actually in reviewing this for this interview, I looked back at this episode and I was like, oh, that tie's coming up. And I was like, I hope. I'm like, let me just see how it reads. And like, I was so grateful. Like, you don't really get a good look at it ever because he's so kinetic and moving around. But it is so janky.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I'm Spencer Williams. What's up, Elizabeth?
Nothing much, just getting into the holiday spirit, putting out some decorations, baking baked goods, all the fun stuff.
Can you come and do mine? I still have all my Halloween stuff up.
Yeah, sure. We'll just get on a Zoom one day and I'll be like, take that down, put that up, put a Santa hat on that.
That's actually all I do.
I'll just direct you.
All I do is just put Santa hats on like things that don't need Santa hats. And then I'll take like, like that cotton they turn into snow. I put that on everything and it just makes me feel, it doesn't snow in Los Angeles. So I just like to make it feel
some light fluffiness to brighten your day.
Elizabeth, what are we going to do today to get into the Hollywood?
The Hollywood spirit?
What can we do today to get into holiday spirit?
Well, one of my favorite things to do in the holiday season is to watch all the holiday episodes of all my favorite TV shows. So this week, Spencer, we are watching The Christmas Party from season 2 of The Office and Benihana Christmas from season 3 of The Office.
2 of the best episodes ever. I mean, I say that about every episode, so whatever.
I mean, they're so funny, and I personally love them because they have that like cringy, like forced office party feel to both of them. That makes them so much fun.
Right. That's what makes The Office so cool. It's just so cringe. It makes you so uncomfortable. And like, I love that about it. I love feeling uncomfortable. Also, it just really makes me want to play Secret Santa.
We should.
Right. Each other being our own Secret Santas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you decoy gifts.
Okay.
So you maybe think they're from some of our other friends and then you'll get the real gift.
Well, I think we should get into this.
I think we should too. Give us some summaries, Spencer.
Okay, so this is the first episode where we actually have 2 summaries. So one of them I took from IMDb. Sorry, I couldn't write 2 summaries, Elizabeth.
You know what, Spencer? We can talk about this later.
All right. In Christmas Party, the Dunder Mifflin employees play a round of Secret Santa, which goes horribly wrong. To make things worse, Michael changes the game from Secret Santa to Yankee Swap. Seeing the party is headed for disastrous boredom, tears, everything, Michael breaks corporate policy to buy alcohol for the staff. I believe he buys like 20 bottles of vodka and asks if this will do it.
It's like an insane amount of alcohol. I'm like, you needed 2 of those bottles. Like, just insane.
And then for Benihana Christmas, trouble among the members of the party planning committee results with Pam and Karen hosting a rival Christmas party. But Michael isn't interested in celebrating after being dumped by Carol. Oh, so good.
So good. I love the scene where he's dumped by Carol because it's like, gosh, it's so obvious that that's not something you should do.
Right. And breakups have never been so funny than on The Office.
Truly. But let's get behind the wardrobe. So Christmas Party was directed by Charles McDougall. And Benihana Christmas, Harold Ramis, with incredible costume designer Carey Bennett. You will know her from her work on Scrubs and seasons 1 through 4 of The Office. And Spencer, this week, for our Behind the Wardrobe facts, we have with us Carey Bennett.
Yay! Carey, welcome.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the Art of Costume studio.
This is so super cool. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to talk to you. We've been talking about this episode since like, I don't know.
August.
Right. Well before Christmas.
Yeah. That's Hollywood style. You got to celebrate Christmas in July.
Right.
Yeah. You got to be sweating with a Santa hat on.
Yeah, that's when we make those episodes. Try to make it look like it's cold and everybody's being cozy. But yeah, meanwhile, it's hotter than the desert.
Right. Well, we're so excited to talk to you. But first, before we get into all the fun office stuff, I would just like to hear a little bit about your journey to becoming a costume designer. Was this something you always wanted to do?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me think here.
We're starting off real hard and quick.
Deep as can be.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. So I went to UC Santa Barbara as a dance major, but quickly found the costume shop there and started working on, helping out with costumes and stuff like that. And for the different dance productions, and then took a costume design class there by the amazing Anne Bruce. who planted the seed in my head that my energy would be really good for costumes for TV shows. And she had gone to CalArts, California Institute of the Arts. So when I graduated, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Am I going to be a dancer? Am I going to move to New York like all my friends and be a dancer? Or maybe go back to school. So I rustled up a portfolio, which is hilarious. I should post that at some point. Like, my drawing skills were pretty weird.
I would love to see it.
But I got into CalArts and for the master's program for costume design. And they have an incredible program there. It's called PADAT, Performing Arts Design Technology. And that was like the best thing I ever could have done. It just gave me the confidence to know what I was talking about and really ignited the costume design flame.
Right.
And one of the guest speakers that came and spoke to us was Jana Rosenblatt. And she actually she's doing interior design now. She doesn't do costume anymore, but she's an amazing designer. And she came and told us all the things to do to get a job in the industry. And I did all those things to her and hounded her for my first job, which was helping her out on The State, which was a show on Comedy Central. And so I moved to New York when I graduated and helped her with that. I thought I was going to be there for like 6 months, and I ended up being there for 6 years. And it just totally set the trajectory for my career because we just did all these like Comedy Central, VH1, MTV shows that were all comedy shows. So I ended up doing The State, Upright Citizens Brigade, and I ended up taking over her jobs when she was kind of moving out of costume design. Strangers with Candy. I'm forgetting something that's also a big one. What am I forgetting? Anyways.
It's okay.
Okay. No, but it just put me in this world of all of these kind of culty classic comedy shows, and was really working in that world and meeting those directors. And then flash forward, I was kind of trying to move back to LA, which is where I'm from. And director Adam Bernstein, I had done some commercials with him, and we ran into each other at a coffee shop. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing this. I'm doing a pilot for this show Scrubs." I was like, "I'm available. Let's
little show."
Well, that's how they all start out. Like they just start out as like a pilot, and you're just kind of like scrapping it together and trying to find that world. And then, no one knows it's going to blow up into some big thing. I mean, that was certainly the case with The Office.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I did that on a hiatus from Scrubs. I just kind of like threw it in like, oh, I could do that little project.
Oh, this little tiny project that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think about it. You just do it. You just got your nose to the grindstone and you're figuring it out. And I think it was like a year after we did the pilot that it got picked up. So again, I was kind of like, did that. A lot of pilots that I do don't go anywhere. I think the statistic is like 90% of pilots don't do anything.
That's insane.
I've done tons of those, so I just kind of was like, well, just doing another thing. And then, well,
That is crazy, but like, look at what happened. It's so insane.
Isn't it so? It's so insane. And I actually feel like I've done a lot of pilots that have gone places. Like I did the pilots of Scrubs, and that went huge. And I've done a lot of pilots that have gone on to bigger and better things. And I really feel like the magic sauce is that no one is assuming it's going to go anywhere. In the beginning, like you're just kind of invested in it in a really visceral way. Like everyone's doing their research and they're communicating, talking about ideas. And those are the ones that I've been on that really end up going somewhere.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much.
So The Office isn't really thought of as like a costume show, but it's their costumes that really make the look and define like the feel of the show. What was kind of your thoughts on that?
How do you dress a paper office?
Yeah,
I know. But thank you for saying that. Like, I've had to sort of defend my honor in a few interviews where they're like, well, there's no costumes. They just like, that's just how they look, right? Like, that's how people look.
No. Oh my gosh. No, that makes me crazy.
And it makes me crazy too. Well, it's like, those were the hottest actors in Hollywood. Like, they show up in their cute little outfits and their little jumpsuits. And like, it's my job to take them down a notch.
Right.
You take them down a couple notches.
And make them make them really real and really resonate. And truly, truly, the only way I can do that is by calling on real life. Like, that's, I never assume that I know what the look is. I always have to go out in the world and find some sort of touchstone that is my grounding and my palette, basically. So where The Office was concerned, I was like, wow, I personally have never worked in an office. I got to get myself to an office and see what it looks like. And I've told this story a lot of times, but
please tell it again. I'm obsessed with this story. Okay.
I mean, and this is, again, it's like just that sort of innocence. Like, I always kind of have like, I don't want to say fear of doing it wrong, but like, I really want to make sure that I'm honoring the real, that world that we're trying to create, what's real in that world. So I literally opened up the phone book, and because that was the phone book back then, and found a paper company that I kind of was like, well, it seems like it's sort of the right size. It was in the next town over from me. And I just invited myself over there. I was just like, I'm doing research. Would it be okay if I came and saw what you guys do? And they were so wonderful. The owner was Meredith.
Oh,
100%.
hello.
Oh my gosh. She was so great.
Well,
but not like just in the way she looked.
right.
Yeah. I don't want to put it out there. She's a little nutty. Yeah. But anyway, I invited myself over there and I took 1 million pictures. They were so wonderful. They let me just take pictures. I asked each, I went kind of from office to office, took pictures of everybody that was there. I mean, it was everything. That office was incredible. They even had, it had a similar vibe to the English version, which I loved. Like, they even had that talking fish on they had that. Right. And I was like, okay, great. I found it. This is so great. And they had like inspirational quotes that were printed off the computer. So they were like on 8.5 by 11, like super long, giant, long printed out things on their walls. It was awesome. It was so great.
It's so awesomely terrible.
It's so, but just like office, like real office life. It was wonderful. And all the characters were there. Everybody was there. And including like the warehouse space was amazing. I mean, they had like a deer head on the wall. And
oh, wow.
I just took pictures of everything. And then I went back and I made a little, presentation. And I had little welcome to the working week music with it. And I brought it back and I showed, Greg Daniels, and Ken Kwapis was our director on the pilot. And they were like, what is this? Where is this? What is this place? Like, you must take us here. And so we all went back. We took the production designer, and they took video cameras and they literally videotaped the whole place. We ended up making a deal with them to use all of their office supplies.
Oh, wow.
Like, they supplied all the things that we needed.
Oh, wow.
Wow. This is insane.
It was the most incredible wealth of information. And like, that photo essay that I did was always what I came back to when I kind of needed to like, be like, wait, what am I doing? And especially when the actors started being like, I want to be fancy. And I'm like, no, you can't be fancy. You can't. Like, you gotta be this. Yeah. So that just was my sort of cornerstone for moving forward with the design of the show. And also sort of the realization that like, people that work in offices aren't really totally up to modern fashion standards. Yeah. Like, it was a little, they were a little bit sort of 80s, 90s kind of vibe, like, because no one's spending a lot of money on those kind of clothes. Right.
Because you're just there every day. You're not trying to like impress anyone.
You're just kind of there. You're not particularly inspired by your clothes, I don't think. And so that was really the flavor that I wanted to bring to it, as well as figuring out ways to knock those actors down a notch. visually, like just to make them have a sort of a sense of vulnerability, because I feel like that is always what makes the characters really endearing.
Oh man, this is why I love costume design. I mean, just this entire research project into a paper company like Office. I mean, this is why Elizabeth and I do this podcast. That is one of the coolest stories ever.
Yeah. It's so important. It's like that's what makes it really resonate. And if you're just trying to like churn out a TV show, that reads too.
Right.
When the thought hasn't gone into it, that reads too. And you're doing it a disservice at that point.
I love that. But you talked about how when you went to the company, like every character was there. How did you like translate those real life employees into these characters everybody loves?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like I said, there were touchstones. Like there was a guy there that, most of the people there had kind of this office wear on, like a shirt and slacks. But this one guy was there kind of, I don't know what his, like why he didn't have to be sort of dressed in office wear, but he had on a t-shirt with wolves on it. And I was like, that's amazing. That guy's amazing. Like, what is his story? And why is he like this outlier? And why does he doesn't have to dress like everybody else? He doesn't have to wear office wear. It wasn't like Casual Friday, but he's like wolf guy. And, so that was obviously Dwight was like full on.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was the one. And then I also even kind of asked them, like, where do you guys shop? What's your, how do you do it?
I would like to know. Yeah.
Like, I mean, a lot of the girls were like thrift stores. They shopped at thrift stores. So we did a lot of that. And then the guys were like, I just go to like JCPenney, and they have like I think still to this day, you can go to JCPenney and you can get a suit, a shirt, a belt, and socks, I think, for one convenient price.
Perfect. Easy done. Boom.
The tie is like a whole outside thing. Like you got to figure out your tie story, but but yeah, so I was like always trying to embrace that. Like, where do you shop? Like where, because a lot of times in Hollywood, like what you're doing is these sneaky, amazing, creative ways of making everybody look really good using really high-end clothes that you then kind of take down a notch. Like that's kind of a thing. Like I always say, like t-shirts are like $200 off the top on a show because you're buying these really expensive, beautifully cut t-shirts that make everybody look great, and then if you're having it printed, then that's another probably $200. So like t-shirts that you see on shows are like, $200 to $400. That's normal in Hollywood. So on this, I really dedicated myself to shopping at those places, buying that stuff that's like that everybody buys. People don't buy $200 t-shirts in real life. I know Jenna always talks about like there was a scene where she had to have jeans, and she was expecting all these like high-end jeans, and I was like, no, girl.
Oh, you're shopping at Mervyn's now.
Yeah, we're shopping at Mervyn's. So we just, because it informs the fit and informs the way their bodies look and informs the way they feel when they're wearing it. All of that. It's all really important. So yeah. So did that answer the question? I guess, just asking those real people where they shop and actually dedicating myself to shopping at those places.
Oh, this is so fun already. Like I forgot that we're even doing an episode.
Yeah.
Well, Carey, we have so many questions, but we're going to kick up the holiday spirit in here a little bit. So we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to play like Secret Santa or Yankee Swap or White Elephant. Who knows?
Some wonderful gift-giving game.
Let's do it.
All right, so the Christmas party. This episode is so wild, and I feel like the ties are even wilder. Where did you find these? Like, how did you decide who got what? Like this sexy, like Santa woman tie. Like, I wouldn't even know where to get that.
It's so bad, but so good, Carey.
Right. So bad. I know. So, I have to admit, like Mervyn's was, which I think sadly is not really around anymore, but that was Oh, it was
Mervin's is not around anymore. I know because I used to shop there.
right. Oh God, it was such a wealth of bad ties. And Jennifer Seary, who supervised this show with me, she and I would shop our butts off, and we always love our tie time at Mervin's, and we would just be like, "This is so hideous! Oh my God, look how great this is! It's so hideous!"
I love that.
And just pouring through those piles of ties there was, I think that was one of our main sources. Really, it's sad. I feel bad for guys because Mervin's not there anymore.
Where else do we get our terrible ties?
I don't know.
I do not ever wear a tie. I mean, Elizabeth would probably die if I wore a tie. So
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I've, like, all the years we've known each other, I've never seen you in a tie. Not once.
I think it's because I don't know how to tie one that I'm just like, let's just plan an outfit around not wearing a tie.
Yeah. But ties are like jewelry for men. It's the only way to express themselves. And like that was, and truly that's how it is in the office. Like they all kind of wearing suits. So like I was really dedicated to their tie story. Each character had their really specific tie story.
It's so funny though that Jim went to the Christmas party and he's not wearing a special tie. He doesn't care. He's wearing whatever he wants.
He doesn't care. My idea with him from the get-go, I mean, come on. He's so handsome. I'm like, how am I going to bring this guy down? And I was always thinking that he probably just really didn't care about office clothes and probably just borrowed stuff from his dad. And I had initially found these woolly ties, like wool ties, it's so weird. It's such an old thing. And so we had like, I think we had 3 for him, these wool ties. And it was so kind of thick and lumpy, and it just softened John so much, that and those pleated pants.
Right.
I just always felt like he just never put any thought into it, and he just was getting by. And so later on, we ended up actually making ties for him. We built all of his ties because it was really hard to find wool ties. It's just not a thing.
Yeah, I don't even know where to look.
Yeah, I don't think you can't find them. You can find them sometimes like in costume houses because they collect those kind of things. But yeah, I needed him to have those soft, fuzzy ties. So we just always kept going with those.
Elizabeth, do you have a favorite tie from this episode?
I think my favorite tie, it's hard to choose. I like Dwight's though, because it's holiday, but it's not holiday. It's like
it's Dwight Day. Yes. Yeah.
I love how Dwight is like still kind of wearing his everyday thing. He's just like, I'll just put this elf hat on top and that just finishes the look,
Yeah. His nebulous, his wardrobe was like olive, ochre, like cream.
Wow, such a beautiful palette.
Weird. What's funny too is like all of his suits again came from JCPenney, and they came in these like kits. Like they had all those colors, like that, like these putty colors and olive green and ochre yellow, and they had. I was just like he was 100% JCPenney, and I was wandering through there. It must have been just like a couple years ago. I swear to God, they had a whole thing set up of those colors. Like it was like this, it was almost like Dwightland. Like they had done it. It wasn't marketed that way, but I was like, I see you, JCPenney. I see what you're doing. Okay.
This is the Dwight collection.
You're capitalizing on the Dwight collection.
We see you. You're not getting biased, JCPenney. Well, my favorite character, probably of like any TV show ever, is Angela Martin. I forgot her last name. I was going to call her Angela Kinsey. Angela Martin, played by Angela Kinsey. She is brilliant, and I just love that like Christmas is her holiday, and every Christmas she like steps it up. I mean, I dare to say that her costume's always kind of elevated compared to everyone else, but Christmas is like, this is her day. So how did you approach dressing the legend Angela Martin in the Christmas party?
The legend. Angela, she got lots of extra attention because she's in real life is like Minnie. She's she's like child size.
Right.
So trying to find those really pious grown up looks for her was always just a total challenge, because you can't go in the kids section and find like an ice blue turtleneck. You know? A lot of her stuff was period, because period stuff is smaller. That's why all her crazy blouses with all the buttons and stuff. But yeah, you got to pull out the turtlenecks in winter.
Yes.
LA winter.
Yeah, winter in quotes.
Yeah, right. So just always trying to find ways to sort of make it feel like it's colder out, even though totally not. Like we actually had an ice machine. We're looking at this video right now of her stomping the ornaments out in the snow. But we literally, a truck came and blew snow all over our parking lot.
Yeah.
And that stuff falling from the sky is bubbles.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a fake snow soap.
Yeah. So the real challenge is just trying to incorporate some clothing that actually people would wear when it's actually cold.
Yeah.
Right. And I love all her like little Christmas ornaments, the jewelry, the little pins. It's like, that's her favorite,
Yeah, totally. All her little things, usually cat oriented. It's actually funny because I feel like this episode, that first season, we weren't so deeply into the cat theming, because I'm realizing, like, as I'm looking at her pin, it's just a little Santa Claus. But yeah, this might have been before we really were grasping that her love of cats.
Elizabeth, there's a story about Angela doing this scene where she was supposed to smash all the ornaments when she threw them at the wall, but they were plastic, so they wouldn't break. So she like went into a frenzy and had to start smashing them with her feet. It's so good. It's just like one of my favorite scenes ever.
I love this because like she does look like all like very like inside wintry. But then she just walks out to the snow just like in her turtleneck and like her skirt. And I'm like, she's angry because at the point in winter in Pennsylvania where it's snowing, it's so bitterly cold out. Like this woman must be furious to have just like gone outside without a coat on.
That's such a good point. Oh my gosh, I love that. She was like, screw the coat. I'm leaving. Bye.
So I love Phyllis and Meredith in these episodes because their outfits are so Christmas centric. Like this is what I try to achieve each Christmas. So it really is. So like I love just like how Christmas, every single piece is Christmas.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, Phyllis. Phyllis,
man.
Come on. I mean, she's just so darling and so earnest. Like that's really where I always went with her. Like what's her earnest attempt at, being pretty, being on theme, being the lady of the office, and I think we might have applied those little poinsettias onto her sweater. I think I possibly did that. I think we added those on, because she's always wanted to have something that's kind of homemade. We shopped a lot for her at a place called Dress Barn, which I think is the saddest, most unfortunate name on the face of the earth. Like, why would you ever?
There are a lot of those out here.
Gosh, I know. I mean, yeah. What are ladies? Cows? They have to go to the barn to get an outfit. It's just so unfortunate.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But they had wonderful outfits in there, like that were a full outfit. That's the other thing, is that she's such a lady. She always has her complete outfit with, shirt and skirt that match, sweater that goes with it, and coordinating jewelry. That was like always her jam.
But then we also have Meredith as well, who's kind of like the same vibe as Phyllis, but then like not
you
really.
wouldn't expect it from her.
Right. It's like she was going for the Phyllis look, but then got into the vodka, and then it just kind of, fizzled from there.
Yeah. And she's another one that I feel like kind of like Jim, like she just has to get through with her office wear. So she doesn't really, it's not like she's shopping anywhere. She's I think thrifted most of her stuff, and she just makes do, because clearly, as we see as she goes along, like she is somebody completely different when she's like outside of work. So yeah, for her, totally the ugly Christmas sweater vibe was perfection.
Right. It felt very thrifted, like you said. I kind of guess I was like, this feels like a thrifted wardrobe for Meredith.
I'm pretty sure her, yeah, or Costume Houses, which is also a giant thrift store. But yeah, we thrifted a lot of her stuff. And that, the thing is, back when we did this, like, that's where you found those sweaters, you're like, wow, who made this insane, crazy sweater? I think hers has like clowns on it, like Christmas clowns. It's just so nuts. You're like, who thought this was a great idea?
Snowman clowns.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, now because I live in Burbank, there's literally an ugly Christmas sweater store here in Burbank now.
Ooh, I'm going to get the address from you later.
Yeah, I need to go there.
I'm going to say that, yeah, the office elevated ugly Christmas sweaters to that point. Now we have a store.
Now they're everywhere. They're at Target. They're all because of Meredith and Carey Bennett.
Yes.
So.
I don't know, but but that was definitely the vibe.
We kind of talked about Dwight a little bit. Is there any kind of fun story you could tell me behind Dwight's ridiculous elf hat and ears? Was that you?
No, for sure. I mean, I always kind of bring in a bunch of stuff, artifacts, that could resonate somewhere, and let the actors play with stuff. And, just see what sticks. And, Rain is such a consummate professional and such like an actor's actor. Like, he was always the one that would contact me when he read the script and be like, hey, I'm wearing a hat in this one. Like, what should it be? I was thinking about this. And, and I was thinking about this. And then, we would always kind of like, put our heads together and figure it out. But so of course the elf thing was totally one of those things that he just was like, here, this is it. This is great. I'm going to wear the ears because,
I could totally envision it. He was like, this is the one.
Yeah. And he wears it so well.
I think now that the vodka is starting to get out, I think we need to move on to the next episode because this Christmas party is getting pretty wild.
I know.
So let's move on to another cringy Christmas party, starting with Benihana Christmas. This is season 3. It's actually episode 10 and 11. It was a part 1 and a part 2. But if you watched it on Netflix forever like me, it was just one episode. So you might be confused, but it's 10 and 11. I love this episode. The Christmas theme really like takes a step up once again. I feel like everyone else is starting to get in on the action too. Even Dwight, his colors changed slightly, not too much, but slightly. But what I want to start with, we kind of touched on this a little bit. The show is filmed in the LA area, but supposed to be Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's terribly cold, like Elizabeth mentioned. I love that the show starts with Dwight walks in with this really nice coat, actually. It's very structured, but everyone's dressed like it's freezing. So how do you approach dressing this cast to pretend like they're freezing cold, but it's actually probably like, 80 degrees outside? How did you work around it? That sounds terrible.
That's where I'm standing there, like browbeating them into like, no, you have to wear it. You have to wear it. I'm sorry. I know it's uncomfortable. You got to wear it. No, we can't skimp on it. No, you have to wear it. Like, that's me literally standing outside that little office door being like, no, it's good. You're wearing it.
If you take it off, I'm going to get you. Keep it on.
Yeah. Like just, begging and pleading and, yeah, for sure. And then, I'm looking at the script, like, after the scene, you can take that off, or, like trying to rationalize with them. Like, you got to do it. You got to do it.
I mean, Dwight's coat, actually, when we walk in, it's actually pretty nice. I'm not mad at that coat. I'm like, Dwight, that was a good find.
I know. Yeah. Well, and, he really loved it. And we got into this later, like sort of his German ancestry. And so I actually think that we got that in an Army Navy. Like, it's like it's a real wool. A lot of his fashion came from Army Navy, actually.
Oh, that makes sense.
That checks. I mean, I would say he kind of ruins the coat, though, with the dead goose he just found on the street.
Right.
So corporate gives a gift to everyone in the office, and it is this brilliant Dunder Mifflin robe that looks so cozy. Was there literally one made for everyone there in the office, or how did that work out? It looks so nice.
Yeah, they're not just the actors on screen, but they ended up getting made for every single crew person and anybody who worked on The Office. So we all got those robes.
Awesome.
So it was kind of like a twofold thing. We had to figure out something that was going to work for this bit, and then make sure that we had enough of them to go around.
Except for Toby, who is like me. I was so upset when he didn't get one.
So heartbreaking. And when he reaches out to touch it. So it just breaks your heart, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So once again, we have some incredible ties. Andy's tie is one of the most obnoxious things I think I've seen on the show. And it's just like, it's such a reflection of his personality. How did you come to this decision?
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Thank you for even noticing it, first of all. But second of all,
how can you not notice it?
Yeah.
Is the question.
But here's the thing, and this is the honest truth, and I bet every designer would say this. At a certain point in every production, you're under such pressure and under such a time limit, and you're not finding the thing that you want. This tie for me is actually so cringy in my own personal life. Because Andy's ties were always these really bright, obnoxious, preppy ties, but I could not find one that was Christmassy. I just couldn't land on the thing that was Christmassy. So his tie, we literally made it at the last minute. And if you really look carefully at it, it's a red tie that has green ribbons sewn to it.
Oh my gosh, no way.
That's amazing.
And it was so it literally just got down to the wire. And I just was there was a desperation move on my part. So when I see this episode, actually in reviewing this for this interview, I looked back at this episode and I was like, oh, that tie is coming up. And I was like, I hope. I'm like, let me just see how it reads. And I was so grateful. You don't really get a good look at it ever because he's so kinetic and moving around. You don't really get to look at it too closely, but it is so janky in my book. So I'm glad it resonates with you. But for me, it's one of those things, there's always something like that in every show for me where I'm it's just cringy because I had to I just ran out of time and had to get it on camera. And there it is.
We think it's incredible. It's so on point for Andy.
It says so much, it's it's a simple green and red tie, but it just says everything about his personality. Even Michael's face is oh my God, I can't with this guy.
Yeah.
Right. It's shiny and all his things are just so, he just needed to have the most obnoxious bright ties because that's just him.
It's great. I also love, Michael, he's all oh, about Christmas. And then as I was watching this second episode, I realized it's the same tie from the previous year. I would feel he'd have a slew of Christmas ties, but
no. And his ties are so specific. It was the search at Mervin's, and we always had to have multiples of all the ties, right? Because a lot of times the episode would take place, the script was only just one day, but it would take us a whole week to shoot it. So things happen, they go to lunch with their costume on and they get spaghetti on their tie or whatever. So we always had to have multiples of everything. So finding his weird, muddy ties that he thought were cool was such a challenge because at Mervin's, they were here's this weird muddy tie and it would have little tiny triangles on it. So I'd be digging through trying to find multiples of that tie. And I would find the exact same tie, but it had little circles instead of little triangles, but it was exactly the same. Or then I'd find another one and it was little squares instead of the triangles. And I was so flustered one time and I asked the sales girl and I'm like, what is the deal with these ties? Why are they're exactly the same, but not. And she just totally shrugged and was because men.
Right.
And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, because men find their thing that they like and then they just buy the same version, the same thing. It's the same colorway, but different shapes because then it's different. It's quote unquote different. And I was like, oh, that's so profound.
I feel so seen right now.
I love how she described that as men.
I'm taking this personally.
I just was so great. You never know where you're going to find your magical little source of information that makes it all click.
Yeah.
Right? So
that makes so much sense.
She was so wonderful. So he's got the same Christmas tie because that's his tie. He brings it out every year. That's the one. He's got it.
This is the Christmas tie,
Right? He probably has a Halloween tie. He probably has a St. Patrick's Day tie, but that's it. He brings it out.
I love that.
So we're in Benihana. When you're doing scenes like this in a real place like a Benihana's, how do you approach like the costume design for that? Do you have to like partner with the restaurant? Did you have to actually make Benihana costumes? I also noticed there's a lot of extras in the background too, which is fun.
Yeah, I don't know. And the extras are always good because that's like all fun thrifted stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. But to answer that question, it's kind of, there's sort of two routes to that. Like if we're actually using the real Benihana and we're using the name, then it's required that we use exactly what they wear. That was the same for when we did the Hooters episode.
Right.
I was horrified when I got those actual Hooter uniforms. Wow. But so I think we used the real Benihana uniforms, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Right. I've been there like one time, so this looks like it. I don't. That checks for me. Okay, so this is another Angela heavy episode, so I'm not going to let you go without talking about Angela once again. She somehow just elevates even more. I am obsessed with this like white lacy meshy top that she wears, and of course her party theme is Nutcracker Christmas, so she has to have the little Nutcracker pin. Can you just walk us through this outfit? It's just so good. This is actually in my phone, Carey. This is your contact photo right now.
Stop. God, you're adorable. That's so awesome. I'm honored. I actually had some questions about this blouse because I thought it might read too sexy for her because it's a little transparent.
You know, that kind of came in my mind too. I was like, this is a little more risque for Angela, but somehow it still works though. I don't know what it is about it.
But, so we ended up like, I kind of pull it back to sort of like 80s, 90s. Like that's because it also helps it feel a little dated, a little, kind of frumpy. And so we actually ended up putting, back then people wore slips. People wore little camisoles underneath their little blouse. So that's what she's got on under there. She's got her little cami to keep it so that it's properly she's properly covered up.
Right.
But I pulled a lot of vintage stuff for her because it just was what fit. And that's what this little beauty is, I think, with the 1,000 buttons. I think if you talk to Angela, she will disparage the blouses with 1,000 buttons because they were practical. She had to do them all up. And I was always like, you know what, girl, this is it's your meditation. Like this is getting you into character.
Right.
You got to button all those 60 buttons on that blouse.
Like, no wonder she's so angry all the time.
That's how she got into her anger space. Yeah.
Let's get into the costume. Well, Angela, if you're listening, I would like to talk to you about the buttons. So please DM me.
And actually, if you look later on too, like a lot of those buttons became little kitty heads.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. I have noticed that.
Little kitty buttons.
I love the kitty theme. That is just so perfect for her. But then we get into like the real madness of this episode. The margarita karaoke Christmas party versus the Nutcracker Christmas. It's kind of subtle, but actually the Nutcracker Christmas group is a little bit more traditional costumes. I don't know if this is intentional, but like this is how I see it. It's very like more traditional costumes, but then when you are in the margarita karaoke Christmas party, like the warehouse guys are there. It's a little bit more dressed down. Karen, she has like a button undone. It's like a little bit more loose. Were you kind of like working on set to make that kind of come through?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's a big moment when we start to establish these scenes, like what level of undress or dishevelment are we trying to achieve here, and then that goes into the hands of the amazing detail-oriented set costumers who hold that line and make sure that everybody's staying in that level of whatever chaos.
That's so fun. I also could really use a margarita right now, Elizabeth. We talked about having margaritas for podcast time and it hasn't happened yet.
Right?
I know. We need to find an episode where that's appropriate.
Yeah.
This might be it. I don't know. I feel like this is
I know. Yeah, we kind of dropped the ball.
Oh, man. Also, real quick, I just am looking at a picture. I just realized that I have to mention Angela's like red and black skirt that went with that white top. It was so perfect. I just saw the photo. I was like, whoa, 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 skirt.
So good. And actually, as I'm looking at these photos, you know what? I definitely, those things resonate with me because there's stuff my mom used to wear. Like she had like a Christmas skirt, and always the red turtleneck and, like that, those things that are sort of ingrained in your psyche, like right. What Christmas outfits are supposed to look like.
And Jenna's character, Pam, she's just like so cute in this episode. Like, I feel like she's really starting to come into her style a little bit, at least for the holidays, like she spends a couple extra minutes in the morning when it's a Christmas or a Halloween. Well, definitely Halloween. Like, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, Christmas, she definitely like takes a couple extra minutes and she always looks so cute. And I love her jewelry.
Yeah. Well, thank you. She's just Foxy Librarian is totally her vibe. and we did,
Foxy Librarian.
It's funny because if you look at the first Christmas episode, she's just wearing a pink sweater. Like she's not really, again, like so engaged in it. And, around now it was difficult to hold the line with these actors because it was getting more popular and they, like I said, they wanted to be fancy. I've told this story before about, Ricky Gervais coming to the set, and I kind of forget where that was. I feel like it was maybe the end of the first season or the second season. And he said, "Hey, how's it going for you?" And I said, "Well, I'm holding the line. Like I'm trying really hard to keep everybody down and in that sort of vulnerable space and kind of frumpy." And he goes, "Oh God, tell me about it." He's like, after the first season on the English version, he's like, all the actors came back. They had tans, they had whitened their teeth. They were like, and they wanted to be all fancy. And I was like, oh my God, that's so, thank you for feeling my pain.
Oh my gosh, right. Like Steve Carell is like blowing up at this moment.
Yeah.
Huge. He was so huge. And he was like flying out after shooting, going to movie sets and stuff, like they all were. And so they all wanted their fancy stuff and they wanted to appear fancier, more well put together. And I was like, no, please, no, we got to keep it. But you start to see it in this episode, even in the picture of the group shot of them at Christmas. Like it's such a great picture. Like they look really put together. And I'm like, but that, I was just trying so hard to hold that line and keep it.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting because it's like that look is part of what's making it so successful. So it's so interesting that they want to like up their look a little bit.
Right. It's
like a blurred line,
Yeah. It's hard to keep that in perspective. And I feel like as the costume designer, like that's my job. Like I gotta hold the line. I gotta hold the look and constantly keep pulling myself back to the original. What was the original vibe? You got to keep it because they do evolve and people evolve and people change and how they look. And yeah.
So many great movies were like coming out at this time too, like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Jenna Fisher's in one of my favorite movies, Blades of Glory. Oh, such a good movie.
So
like
good.
They're all like doing such great movies at this time. So that's hard. I feel for you.
So they're having influences all over the place. Yeah. And different, they're working with different designers and things are really fancy. And, I am just trying to I'm like, please wear the Mervin's clothes.
One character before we are done, there's one character we have not yet mentioned. And I feel like she really has her moment in this episode, which is Mindy Kaling's Kelly Kapoor, who's a brilliant, brilliant character. So funny. She just looks so cute, so classy, but I also love like sparkles or lights in her hair. She's singing that Pat Benatar song to Ryan. It's just so good. What was it like coming up with the costumes with Mindy, who's like so funny?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Mindy is like such a juggernaut. I don't know how to even explain it. Like sort of witnessing her growth was such a beautiful blessing, really, because when she started on the show, like if you guys look back and you look at those early episodes, she is completely different. She is like, we had talked about her having sort of like this immigrant vibe and kind of being sort of not really knowing, where she was, not really having a lot of self-confidence, like all of that. And she transformed as she personally found her voice writing for the show, she really wanted to change up her character. And the transition was difficult because I was like, whoa, we started out with something completely different. And then, finding that balance of not wanting her to be like so flashy, so trendy, but knowing that like she probably is like such a mall rat, like goes to all those stores in the mall, shops at like Express, and
yes.
So there was a lot of finding who she was, just at the same time as Mindy herself was, and it's so beautiful to see how she has just evolved in such a gorgeous way. So I think that she really thought about her outfit for Christmas, and she wanted it to be kind of shiny and kind of a little bit office sexy. It can't be too overt. It has to be kind of conservative still, but she's just, it comes off so cute.
It's so funny. My favorite scene is when she's singing that song to Ryan. It's so bad. And he's just drinking his margarita, trying to get through it. Oh, so good. And I mean, Mindy Kaling is amazing. That's one of the fun things of these original seasons is like watching her really like come into her own, knowing that she's writing so many of these great episodes too. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, Carey, that brings us to the end of Benihana Christmas.
Oh, no.
I have had so much fun talking to you. This has been so great.
Oh, likewise, you guys. Like, I feel so honored to be able to tell these stories and to sort of elevate the real art form that costume design is. It takes so much thought, and I appreciate you seeing it.
It's just so beautiful the way that you're able to tell stories of just like real, everyday, like original, authentic people, just like through the costumes. It's just, that's what makes Office so great. It just feels so real. And you see yourself in each of these characters, even if it's like a little extreme sometimes, like we all do see a little bit of ourselves in Dwight. Maybe not like to that level, but like that's what's so great about your costume design work on the show is you just make everyone feel seen in the show. And I just think, you're one of the best of the best. So I'm so honored that you joined us. It was so fun.
That's so sweet. Well, I really live by like, if you can't see the light in all, you can't see the light at all. And so I just feel like in my own need to elevate myself, like I think you got to look and you have to listen. You have to really see who your subject is and who you're trying to create. I think every person is so beautiful, and all of the things, all the weird reasons they put on this weird outfit today is so beautiful. And that's what makes me want to do these projects and what makes me tick.
So, Carey, this has been so much fun, but the holidays are all about gift giving. And we have a collaboration with you that we are beyond excited about.
Yeah.
I've been dying to talk about this. You have a little something special that we're going to be doing for our listeners at the podcast.
Yeah. I have a little gift for your listeners that I found folded up at my studio. It's one of the robes from the Christmas episode of The Office. It's the very one that Michael Scott wears. It was my wrap gift that year working on The Office, and I've never worn it.
That is crazy.
It's crazy. I feel like it's time for it to go to somebody who will love it and cherish it and wear it.
Oh, how do you not wear that every single day?
Well, you have to imagine I have a lot of this stuff laying around.
I love that.
First, I would love to hear a little bit about the charity that you picked. Carey, why did you choose the Sunrise Movement?
Well, I thought that we could use this as a charitable opportunity. And the charity that's near and dear to my heart is the Sunrise Movement. They are so passionate about trying to stop climate change and create millions of good jobs in the process. And if we don't have our Earth, we've got nothing. So
the battle against climate change is very near and dear to all of our hearts at the Art of Costume podcast. So very excited to do this with Carey. So let me explain how this is going to work. First, you're going to head to the sunrisemovement.org and make at least a $5 donation. Once you've made your donation, email us your receipt at theartofcostumeofficeholiday@gmail.com. For every $5 you donate, your name will be entered in a hat, and the lovely Carey Bennett will be drawing the name of our lucky winner of this one-of-a-kind piece that even Toby Flenderson would probably be pretty jealous of. This opportunity is limited to our listeners in the United States and must be 18 years of age or older. Also, team members of the Art of Costume are not eligible, so sorry, Elizabeth. Donation receipts must be emailed to us by November 30th, 2021 by 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will be announcing the name of our winner during our season finale happening in early December, so stay tuned. You can head to the artofcostumeblogcast.com or check our Instagrams for all of these details.
And I will literally pull a name out of a hat, and that'll be our lucky winner.
Thank you all so much in advance for all of your donations, and I'm so excited to see the lucky recipient of this robe. Send us all the pictures. I cannot wait.
Oh, yeah.
And I